Hey everyone, how's it going and welcome back. It's only taken 5 weeks to go from this to this, and now it's time to plant these little babies, my baby tomato plants, up into their final planters to go in the polytunnel. But if you think you've left it too late to sow any seeds this year, think again. Stick around and I'll show you one super simple seed that you can sow that'll grow super quick, and within a couple of weeks you'll have this that you can plant up yourself. So let's get going. So the plants are going to get potted up into their tubs and then put into the polytunnel. And I planned on filming all of it in there as well, but it's only 11 o'clock in the morning and it is seriously hot. Plants don't do well when they get transplanted in full sun or searing heat. It just risks them flopping really quickly. And also, it's so hot in there. Unless you want to see me pass out on camera, let's go and find somewhere a little bit shadier where we can work. Much nicer. We're in the shade, so it's cooled down a little bit. So if you've ever grown tomatoes from seed before, you'll know how quickly they develop from when you first sow them until they turn into a plant this size. I sowed these back on the 23rd of April. Now, to be honest, the only reason that I know that date is because I looked back at my camera roll footage and checked the date on my computer. I know I should be more organized and I should write the date on the label, but I never remember to, so I'm going to have to get more organized and do that in the future. But really, all I did, they're super easy to sow. I sowed them in little modules, popped them into the airing cupboard, and within a couple of days, they'd germinated. So once they've germinated and you've got some little sprouts, you can take them out, put them on a nice sunny windowsill or just somewhere bright, and it's amazing how quickly then that they develop. So this is what they looked like within a week of sowing. And then this is what they looked like another 4 days later, and then a week later. And then I gave it a couple of weeks. I potted them on from the modules into these pots, but already within a couple of weeks, they're this size and they're busting to get into their proper planters. Now, I know this is hard to believe, but I've actually really struggled in getting decent sized plant pots that I can put these into. With lockdown lifting here in Ireland about 10 days ago, the garden centres opened and they've been inundated with people and all the good stuff's been cleared out. I had tried online as well, but sometimes delivery can be a wee bit tricky and I wasn't able to get hold of what I was looking for. But I did go to the hardware shop and struck lucky. I got these. These are 14-litre flexi tubs in black and they're going to work perfectly. The only problem with them is, because they're designed to be a trug and they're designed to hold water, they've got no holes. So first thing I need to do is drill some holes in all of them. So I haven't just got this plant, I've got all of these. So it raises a good point, which is over-sowing, and it's something that I think we're all a little bit guilty of. Now, I get it. Everybody is always that little bit afraid that you might sow something and it's just not going to germinate and it's not going to work out. So what you do is you sow loads and loads more seeds than you would ever need, or you maybe even use the whole packet. But you know what? Unless you're sowing something that's got a really, really long germination period, you're going to know pretty quick whether the germination's been successful or not. And if you've been smart enough not to use all of the seeds in one go, and you find that they haven't germinated, you get a second or a third go at it. But if you have ended up with too many plants that you know you can't cater for, and you don't want to put them on the compost heap, spread the love, or the tomato plants, and give them to someone that you like or you think is nice, because nice people deserve nice plants. So this year I'm growing 2 types of tomato. One's a bush variety and the other one is your standard upright cordon variety. But rather than describing them, I'm going to let the seed packets do the talking. And for the record, this is not a sponsored video. But the first type, the little bush type, is Tumbling Tom Red, and it's described as making cherry-sized, sweet and juicy fruits produced in abundance throughout the summer. So here's hoping that it delivers. The other one is one that I've never heard of. It's called Ildi, And it's described as having mini, sweet, yellow, pear-shaped fruits that hang like bunches of grapes with an incredible 80 fruits per truss. So I've got a load of them, fingers crossed. Okay, enough talking about these. Let's get planting. So in terms of planting up the tomatoes, the first one that's going to go at the back is Ildi, which is the tall upright type. So I'm going to tip it out and pop it at the back, but just before I put it in, what I have is a piece of twine, which is twice the height of the polytunnel. The reason for this is that tall upright types of tomato, what they need is they need some kind of support. Now you can do this with a cane or you can do it with a piece of twine. So what you do is just as you're setting it into the soil, you take the twine and you set the root ball of the plant on top of it. And then what that does is as the root grows out, it anchors that piece of twine and you can have this twine tied up to the roof of the polytunnel and it'll keep growing. So with this at the back, then the next one is the tumbling tom, the bush type. So it's going to go at the front. So although they look basically the same in height at the moment, it's not going to take long before the Ildi outgrows this one vertically and there'll be plenty of room for the two of them. So all that's left now to do is to put a little bit of soil in, finish earthing them up and give them a good water. Right, these have all been potted up, they've had a good water and they're ready to go in the polytunnel. Now potting tomatoes up in tubs like this is just one way that you can go. And actually you might be interested in another YouTuber that I follow. She's called Eli and she uses a system to grow her tomatoes that you can buy called Quad Grow. Now her channel's awesome, so check it out. The link's up here and it's called The Kitchen Garden with Eli and Kate. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. So now that it's just getting to the end of May, it is a little bit late if you want to be sowing your own tomato seeds. But at the start of the video, I did promise one seed that you can still sow, and that's cucumbers. And here's how. Fill some small plastic pots or modules with seed compost or multi-purpose compost. Cucumbers aren't too fussy. Scrape off the excess and gently firm down the compost. Cucumber seeds are big and nice and easy to hold. Pop one seed into each module. Shake over some extra compost just to cover the seed. I use a plastic plant pot, like a little sieve. Then all that's left to do is water the modules or pots and leave them to germinate. I'm allowed to put mine in the airing cupboard to speed things up. And that's it, easy peasy. And a few weeks later, you'll have plants like these. I sowed these at the same time as the tomatoes and check out the size of them. So I've got two different types this year. One's called Marketmore, so that's the kind of typical cucumber that you would see in the supermarket. And the other one is called Crystal Lemon. Now the difference with this is that rather than producing long green cucumbers, what it makes are little small spherical yellow ones that are kind of crispy and crunchy. They're really nice. So what I'm going to be doing is just like the tomatoes, they're going to be going into one of these black rubber tubs. But same as with the tomatoes also, I'm going to be putting in 2 per tub. And rather than making them grow up cord, what I'm going to be using is some bamboo canes. So with these, all I need to do, a bit like the tomatoes, is finish potting them up with some extra compost and give them a good water, and they'll be ready to go for the polytunnel as well. Now you saw how many tomato plants I've got, and you can imagine it's going to take quite a bit of time to get them all potted up into these planters. So I'm going to do that over the next couple of days, and then I'm going to drop a midweek video once I get these into the polytunnel. So if you've enjoyed this, let me know by leaving a comment down below and hitting the like button. Make sure to subscribe and don't forget to hit that bell icon, because then you'll be notified when I post my next video. And until next time, see you later.